hardcore boxing fans out there, how are you doing? Big Porky here, the voice of hardcore boxing, and I hope you've subscribed as well, or we're coming to pay you a visit.
That's right. You know what time it is, don't you? We all know what time it is. It's Porky time! Woo!
Hello all you hardcore boxing fans out there, how are you doing? Got a special treat for you tonight. It's me, Big P, and I'm joined by my good friend Terry. And we are tonight going to let rip. How are you doing, Terry?
I'm all right, mate. You know, shouts out to your fans as always, Russ. Like a lot of guys show me love on social media and whatnot. So it's always appreciated. Even the guy that got a bit upset because I said Ted Cheeseman will beat Ryan Rhodes, but I genuinely believe it.
Somebody not happy with your Ryan Rhodes, Ted Cheeseman comment.
Yeah, but I genuinely believe, because Ryan's not going to stop Ted. So, you know, how are you going to beat Ted Cheeseman on points? Nah, Ted's too busy and too fit. So I don't see it. And Ryan's not a guy that comes on strong in the second half of a fight either. That's why.
Yeah. Well, it's boxing's subjective in it, so it's everybody's opinion. But yeah, well, I didn't see that comment, but I'll have a look through and see what. There's a lot going on in boxing at the moment, but I want to start with a little bit of a topic here. Ricky Hatton's got a son, Campbell Hatton. He's just turned pro, had a lot of PR. And the one that's obviously that's big news at the moment, Conor Benn. How do you see those two careers panning out? And what do you think to the last two fights, you know, and all the hula or all the boular or whatever they call it, all the hype afterwards? What do you think, Terry?
So, Russ, I kind of came into the game, like, you know, in any kind of meaningful way, like building real context and connections, when Eubank was making his way as an amateur.
Yeah. And
I remember the negativity he got just by being a Eubank, and kids were there trying to rip his head off and coaches were disrespecting him. And I remember seeing that. And then I remember the same negativity when he signed up with, was Hennessy first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He signs up with Hennessy and everyone's looking for him to get smashed to bits. Who is he? He's never done anything as an amateur. He's living off his father's name. He'll never be what his father was. And you fast forward like 10, 11 years. Look at Eubank Jr. now, multimillionaire, fights when he wants, is a legit star. And he's probably one of those guys who's bigger than boxing. And so fair play to him. Now, that hasn't gone unnoticed at Matchroom, because you know what Hearn's looking at. Hearn's looking at Eubank Jr., looking at the money he makes, looking at the pay-per-views that Eubank will do, because Eubank's a pay-per-view fighter. He's got the name brand recognition.
Yeah.
And so Hearn goes, why can't I make my own? And then by sheer luck, there's a kid called Conor Benn who's fighting out in Australia, and he wants to turn pro. Yeah. So Hearn then goes, okay, here's my chance to create a pay-per-view star. Not even create a boxer, create a pay-per-view star. Yeah. So that's the technical stuff in the ring. That's the commercial stuff outside of the ring. That's the branding, the reputation, using the leverage of the Nigel Benn name and reputation. And so he's done that. And I don't think it's wrong, Russ. I think it's all right. But for me, there's only so many people you can do that with. With Conor, it's worked. We don't know if it's going to work with Campbell Hatton or not. We just don't know yet. And what upset me on Saturday was they were talking about Conor Benn in the same breath as guys like Sean Porter and so forth. And I was like, but you haven't won a British title. And it's not a foregone conclusion that you would win a British title. So let's be realistic about who you are and where you are in your career. I want Conor Benn to be world level. I really do. But he's not there yet. And if you look at his CV, like, I don't want anyone to tell me Sammy Vargas is a good opponent, because Sammy Vargas has been on the slide for about 6 years since Errol Spence knocked the life out of him. You know, he's known as a soft opponent. Like, he's got a name, but you can run over him. I'm trying to think who he's a bit like. He's a bit like Chris Algieri, you know, at welterweight. He has a name and people know the name, but he's never been that good. So I saw Conor on Saturday. I thought it was a hell of a performance, by the way. Showed up, put as we like to say, Russ, he showed up, put hands on him, took his money, went home.
Yeah.
Campbell Hatton, he's right at the beginning of that journey. So we're going to see this live every 2 or 3 months. We're going to see Campbell Hatton fight. We are. And we may as well just get behind it. And let's not look at it as a thing of, oh, he ain't any good, he's rubbish. Let's look at it as a bet. Is he going to be world level, yes or no? Or is he going to be better than his old man, yes or no? And let's watch the journey just thinking, let's just look at it that way. It's like a bit of a bet, isn't it? Will he make it, will he not? And let's enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Do you think Conor Benn will make it and be a world champion?
He's got the kind of style that you could put him in world level fights. He's almost like a British Maidana, if that makes sense, Russ.
Yeah.
Where he's going to go in with a certain pace, and you're going to have to be a damn good boxer to keep him off you.
He's got that aggression like his dad had, hasn't he?
Yeah, which is strange because I think he's like privately educated and everything. Like he hasn't come from poverty. Let's remember, Nigel Benn retired a very wealthy man.
Yeah.
So I rate the fact that he's got that in him. Despite his upbringing, despite the privilege, he's still got that dog in him. You have to respect that.
This week, but if he sticks it out and goes all the way, yeah, but I don't like to hear pay-per-view talk after it wins his hard. I don't like that, Terry.
But you knew that was the plan, Russ.
Oh, I know they were planning. I've said it on here. Yeah, I just didn't think they'd go ahead with it. I thought it was in my head that, but no, they went ahead with it, didn't they?
Yeah, they were always look. Eddie hasn't created Conor Benn to be a Saturday night fighter. He created Conor Benn to be a pay-per-view guy. This is exactly why they've avoided every landmine along the way.
Chris Jenkins was a big landmine for him, wasn't it?
It would have been a hard fight. But let's contrast this with a kid in America, Russ, called Jerome Ennis, right? Jerome Ennis, roughly the same age as Conor Benn. He's 23, roughly same number of fights. He might have just over 20 fights, right? Son of a former boxer. So his dad is Bozy Ennis, I think it is.
Yeah.
And he's a trainer in Philly. Now, Jerome Ennis is legit world level. And he just beat a guy in Sergey Lipnets, who's a good gatekeeper. You beat a guy like Lipnets and you stop him, you're world level. Or you should be fighting for a world title in 1 or 2 fights. Conor Benn still hasn't got that kind of performance yet. We need that. Had he beaten Evanesian in 1 or 2 rounds, fair enough. Let's make the noise.
Yeah.
But not Sammy Vargas, man. That wasn't a serious fight. And what happens is this, Russ, Hearn will spin it, right? And then the whole machine kicks into gear. And Sammy Vargas goes from a guy who wasn't very good and wasn't very tough to suddenly being like the reincarnation of Roberto Duran. And
everybody falls for it, don't they?
Every time.
Then we've got Adam Smith there saying that, well, this is a tough fight for Conor Benn. Ooh, and then when Conor Benn blows him away, he's saying, "Oh, I've seen him in camp," and it flips and slides and blah blah blah. And they're playing with fans' emotions, aren't they, with their lies and bullshit?
Well, no. I don't think they are. Like, as a boxing fan, just stop buying into it.
Yeah. Well, some fans are buying into it, though, aren't they? Obviously, and they're emotionally invested in it.
And that's who they're selling this to, Russ. They're not selling it to you. You're no longer relevant.
Yeah.
You, Mark Tibbs, Russ Gerard, and whoever, Eddie Lamb, all the guys who really know the sport and who really love the sport, they're not selling pay-per-views to you. They're selling pay-per-views to old Ricky the scaffolder. And
people I spoke to tonight in the supermarket when they're coming up to me going on about Conor Benn. And I'm like, I feel like saying, you know what, I've just had a full day of this, mate, for 10 hours of it. And I'm coming here for a few cans of beer and I've got people going on about it.
And that's what we need to remember in boxing.
Yeah.
No one's selling to the hardcores anymore. What the hardcores do is they shine light on the future talent, right? And then the promoters pick up that talent, and then they just ignore the hardcore and go, actually, we'll take it from here. And they sell it to Gary and Fred and Ricky and I don't know, Jason. They sell it to those guys who love a bit of beer, a bit of sniff, like grabbing girls by the bum. You know the guys, maybe they have a DJ gig in Ibiza or something mad like that. You know the sort of guys. They're interested in boxing, but they're not boxing fans.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the type of people that when you say, do you know Trevor Berbick is? And they go, who? Where's the last guy to beat Muhammad Ali? They don't know that, do they, like we do?
Mate, there'll be a generation of kids that won't even know who Ali is.
Yeah, there probably might be. Yeah, there might be. Yeah, there probably is. It's probably the last 20-year type of generation, isn't it? Or 15 years.
Yeah.
So what next for Conor Benn? Obviously, we want. They were very close, you know, to signing that Chris Jenkins deal, and it were very, very close. And I've heard there's been all sorts of insults thrown about and that, because it were at one point it were all done, and then they just pulled rug underneath it, Matchroom, and I thought that were a great.
No, wasn't it down to COVID? Like, it was meant to happen pre-COVID, and then COVID kicked in, and they're like, nah.
And then they've gone a different route, haven't they now? Matchroom. It's like
listen. They're not putting Conor Benn in with anyone dangerous. So they'll find another
great fight, Terry. We even both said it. They said that's a great fight. You know, a clash of styles. It's a good fight for us guys, isn't it? That.
I think Conor damages a lot of British level guys. I think there's a couple of guys who will give him problems. I think the Kinson will give him problems. I think Congo would give him problems. I think Josh Kelly for a few rounds would give him problems. And then it's about whether he could drain Conor Benn's confidence. But I don't know if he could. So there are a few lads like that. If O'Hara Davis moved up, would that be a fight that people would consider?
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Then this is what I'm saying. So there are fights Conor Benn could have that make sense.
Ritson.
In the UK?
Ritson, O'Hara.
I think he punches Ritson over the top rope, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he punches Ritson right over that top rope.
I'd like to see him try. I think that's a great fight, mate.
Anthony Tomlinson.
Yeah, Anthony's gone with Dennis. He's 12-0 now. You'd have thought he'd be in mix, wouldn't you? 12-0 from UK, 29-year-old.
But if we look at it with a Porky RIP hat on, right?
Yeah.
You got to put Conor on pay-per-view next. So that means you're going to have to give someone with name brand recognition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It won't be Khan. Khan doesn't need the money like that. So Khan doesn't care. Khan still wants a Pacquiao fight, or he'd like to do something with Floyd. Don't fall into a trap of thinking Khan has any aspirations to fight young, hungry fighters. He doesn't need to. Kell Brook doesn't need to. They're looking for cash out fights, real money fights. So there you go. Okay, what can Hearn do? And they can dig up these guys like Robert Guerrero, the Ghost. They could dig out an American guy like Andre Berta and do the whole these guys fought Mayweather thing. You know, when they start to, because these guys aren't very good, they always talk about who these guys have fought. And that's what you're going to start looking at. You know, a Jesse, you know, what was the guy's name? Was it Jesse Benavidez, or I can't even remember the kid's name. The guy that Crawford beat. Yeah. You might do him because he's only got one leg. Do you see what I mean? They'll dig up someone.
Victor Ortiz.
Yep. Someone like that. Or they'll pull someone up from 140 pounds like that.
Yeah.
Victor Postol will come up to welterweight to fight Conor Benn.
Tyrone Nurse.
No. It will be someone they can say fought a pound for pound guy. That's what they'll dig up. But he won't be very good. He'll be old. He'll be underweight. And then Conor will do that on pay-per-view. And you know the build-up. The machine will tell you this guy's still a killer. And Johnny Nelson will tell you that he could probably knock Conor Benn out with his backhand. And then we'll all watch the fight and we'll all be annoyed when this guy turns out to be rubbish. That's really what's going to happen next.
Johnny Nelson will say he's a cross between Barry McGuigan and Azuma Nelson. And it's a tough fight for Conor.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, on Saturday, I think he was a lot better on Saturday. I quite enjoyed Johnny's commentary, and I thought Natasha Jonas was brilliant, actually.
Oh, she looks amazing, and she sounds brilliant, doesn't she? She's got a very good temperament for TV, hasn't she?
Says all the right things.
Yeah.
You can't criticize it. I really like it.
And she says it in a really good way, doesn't she? She really speaks clearly and that. She's engaging, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see her get Anna Woolhouse's job. No disrespect against Anna Woolhouse, but I just think that Natasha Jonas comes across a lot better than her. What do you think, Terry?
Oh man, put me on the spot. I'm a Jonas fan. I don't even know how Anna Warhouse got the gig. I think
Barney Francis's friend, isn't she?
But he's not involved anymore.
Yeah, but she's still his friend, isn't she? Oh, she was.
So, being honest with you, Russ, I'd like to see Tasha Jonas do that job after she retires. I think as a current boxer, I'm happier watching her do this on a one-off basis. But I think that's the future for Sky, and I think women's boxing needs it.
She could be the new Sue Barker.
Mate, world is her oyster. Like Alex Scott. I look at her the same way I look at Alex Scott. Do you know when you just respect someone? It's not about whether she's a woman or not. She's just good.
Yeah. I agree with you. What happened to Charlie Webster? She was good, wasn't she, as well?
I mate, no idea. You know,
she went missing, didn't she?
Maybe Charlie Webster should train with Joe Gallagher, and like he does. Look what he does for your career.
Yeah. Old Waitrose Joe. He's been
old Selfridges Joe now, old Fortnum and Mason.
Is that expensive Selfridges?
Yeah.
Oh, it's better than Tesco Joe, isn't it? He's had an upgrade, hasn't he?
Nah, listen, man. Like Joe's a trainer who's become better almost by saying nothing.
Yeah. Do you know he's only had one helmet vote in 4 months?
That might have been me.
Joe Gallagher used to get nailed on 180, between 80 and 100 every month for like last few years, mate. And then all of a sudden, he got stuck into Eddie Hearn over that with Callum Johnson, and now he's had one vote in 4 months. Do you know what I mean? Since Sky matched him, bullied him. So put him out to pasture for a few months. So it was like Joe
fair play to him.
Dark side, didn't he?
Hey, he bats for his team though. You got to respect that.
Yeah, hey, listen, you have to. And who's had the most champions in the last 30 years out of all trainers in the UK? British.
Chris Medley.
Apart from Chris.
Maybe Joe. Yeah, maybe Joe Gallagher second.
Joe Gallagher number 2 behind Chris. Mick Whale coming up in 3rd. Okie dokie. Let's have a look. There we are. Savannah Marshall and Conor Benn's careers. Savannah Marshall, she's like destructive, isn't she? She's not one of them messing about with going points and all that. She's quite brutal in how she deals with these people. Do you think it's because she levels above? And then swinging over to Conor Benn, how can I explain it? What you look at their different types of bodies of work, and Conor Benn's not really fought anybody in pros, and Savannah ain't really, but their careers are heading on similar paths, aren't they? Do you think? One's a world champion, and Conor's heading that way. He's got a lot of hype behind him, but one's no amateur career and one has. Do you think? How do you compare both careers, Terry?
I don't think you can, because Savannah's kind of she's been boxing since she was young, man. Like she's from amateur debut, 2008, 2009, all the way through now.
She's been boxing 18 years, Savannah.
But I mean, like top level competitive, like when she put on an international vest.
She's been up at Sheffield since McCracken started, since Carl Froch started for the
2009.
Andre Dirrell, October 2009, and I think Carl started there that summer.
Yeah, she's been in this for a while.
She's been all way. She trained with Carl Froch for 5 years up there. 6 years.
Yeah, she broke his nose.
I don't know about that. She never sparred him once because I asked.
No, she did with a jab, and then McCracken said you can't spar him anymore in case you break his jaw.
Yeah, you're going to dig at Carly, aren't you? No.
No,
I didn't. Terry, stop trolling. Behave yourself tonight.
Mate, I know you like Google. There might even be a video of it where she just literally gave him licks.
I like Savannah anyway. She's all right.
So here's Savannah Marshall's problem.
Yeah.
There's only one fight we want to see her
I've
have.
just got it on the list here, Terry. Look, I'm just saying here, one fight. He took the words right out of my mouth. Go on, yeah.
Meatless.
Hang on, she's got one fight. Clarissa Shields, they could fight twice. Conor Benn. I mean, I'd like to see him in with Jenkins, Conger, McKinson. Then we've got Porter, Crawford, Spence, Garcia. You know, before we start talking about them, go through the domestic guys. Savannah, domestic and world and European, domestic, European and world. There's only one person that's on her level, and she's had an handful of fights. So where are we heading with this? Do you know what I mean?
I think for me, Savannah fights Franchon Cruz at 168, fights Clarissa Shields at 160, 168. It doesn't matter. And then if I'm Savannah Marshall, I fight Naomi Graham, who's a heavyweight.
Yeah,
that's
she
what I'd
beats
fight.
them as well. She could go through all divisions and get all
without even gaining weight. I think the current weight she is walking around, I think she gives those heavyweights trouble.
Yeah, she gives all of them trouble. All of them.
She's just big. The thing about Savannah, she's big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now she'll never get the bump that Conor Benn has, because Conor can leverage the Benn name and, you know, the second coming of the Dark Destroyer, and, you know, he appeals to that kind of Essexy working class East End British thing. He hits a lot of boxes, kind of like David Haye did. There's a lot of similarities there where they just tick every box.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and she ticks every box. I mean, obviously, a couple of years ago, I did 2 camps there and went abroad with her on one of them, and she's so regimented. There was somebody there, I forgot who it were, and said he'd done some work with tennis players and that, and he was a lot older than me, but he got to meet Steffi Graf and people like that, and he said he reminded her of Steffi Graf in how she was regimented in rising in the morning, meal times, what food, what weight of food, and when to eat, when to drink, when to relax, when to do it, all across the board. And she took time out for herself. Even on one of my interviews, if you listen, she said she was living in Vegas when she was with Mayweather, when he signed her, and she said, what did you do at weekend? She said she went into Vegas and went to a show on her own. And she obviously she's not the type of kid to go out and make friends to go somewhere. She just goes on her own and stuff like that. And she's just in her own little world, I suppose, isn't she?
But here's the problem, though, right? You're quite an introverted person. You're quiet. You're low key, and they're nice qualities to have. But you're in a gym where, like, Peter Fury's not much of a talker. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Peter will put you in your place or tell you to do something, or if you've done all wrong, it won't be, Russ, what you're doing, it'll just be that. You know what I mean, don't you? That look.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you look at that whole gym, it's not a marketer's dream. Do you see what I mean? Like, so either Savannah's got to find herself a mouthpiece, or she's got to do more talking. Like, I don't think there's, and it's tricky because I think she's still got to deal with Hennessy, right?
Yeah.
So Hennessy's still getting that 30% cut. So it's pretty tricky for her to find someone like a Sam Jones to make the noise. And I'm not saying it has to be Sam Jones, but a Sam Jones type person to make that noise. I know she's working with Colin Middlemass and so forth. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that publicly, sorry. But, you know, someone needs to do a job in terms of just getting her out there, because I get excited when she's in the ring. I don't get excited outside the ring. I enjoyed her interview this time. I think it was a lot more mature from Savannah, and I like that emotionally I started to feel her pain, and I started to really embrace her journey. And maybe she just needs to do more of that. But I like her, man. There's so much to like about her.
Yeah, have you ever wondered that Matchroom don't fancy her as like they should, because she ticks every box, apart from the fact that she's not willing to go waste all of her energies promoting herself? Do you think? I don't know.
But what are you going to do with Savannah? If we say realistically, the only 2 fights we care about right now are her versus Clarissa and her versus Franchon Cruz DAZN. Franchel Cruz DAZN is with Golden Boy. Tricky for Matchroom to make that fight, but it can happen. And Clarissa Shields is with Salita. And Salita's looking to cash out on this Shields fight, so he wants it on the biggest stage possible for the most money possible. So they've kind of got Matchroom over a barrel where they're saying, well, if you've got Savannah Marshall, cool, but you're going to have to put all the work in to make this fight happen.
Yeah. Is that what you think's happening, Terry? Do you think that they're letting Savannah try and sell the fight?
Well, they want Matchroom to put the money up. Everyone does, because that's the DAZN money. So you're like, why am I spending my money, my marketing budget on this fight when Matchroom can do it? So that's what everyone's angling for at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they want them to put the show on. And Matchroom are glad to let them put it on if they could get away with it, wouldn't they? Just farm out.
Mate, that's what Eddie's doing with Frank, right? Keep making Frank spend money when he doesn't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, why risk it in a pandemic? That's why everybody's parked up in it. Yeah.
Although one man is making signings, one man is putting on shows 1 week after the other. Car parks, doesn't care. Make it happen, Big Dennis.
Dennis, yeah. Dennis is signing people. He's signed quite a few people lately to promotional deals and manager deals.
But these guys don't even look like ticket sellers. So maybe...
maybe
I mean, I could have given them the hit list, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some guys he could have got his hands on.
Maybe Dennis has got some money trees in his garden that he's growing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Porky, and you know what I mean? You got the happy trees growing in your shed.
I don't know, but exciting times ahead, Anna.
Rough, tough, rugged.
This is why we love this sport so much, Johnny. Added spice, sizzling. Billy Joe Saunders. The Billy Joe Saunders enigma. What's going to happen to Bill? What will end up happening with Bill, do you think, next month? If it happens.
I think if it happens, he shows up, gets his money and goes home. And when people ask him, you know, why didn't you try harder against Canelo? He'll just be like, look, I gave him a best shot. He's a better man than me on the night. There you go. At least I test myself against the best. And that'll be him.
Yeah.
Probably call out Eubank Jr. after the fight. All right, fine, whatever. I'm not excited by Billy Joe now. Like, you think what Lemieux was nearly 3.5 years ago now?
Yeah. 4 years. Yeah, 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 years. Yeah.
So what we got? What's he given us since then?
No, he's put weight on it since then. He's gone up in weight.
That and it hurts me because we wanted so much. After that Lemieux fight, we thought, right, all the false starts, all the nonsense we had to deal with before was over. This is the Billy Joe we wanted to see. And then nothing.
Do you feel that Billy Joe didn't clean up at 160 before he moved up?
What do you mean? What do you mean clean up? He didn't even make it to the house to clean up.
He didn't clean up.
Mate, he hasn't got a broom. Do you know what I mean? Like, he beat Andy Lee for his title. Let's be clear about this. He beat Andy Lee. Like, that's as soft a win as you're going to get in your career. Now, what did he do to unify? He didn't do anything other than make noise.
Yeah.
So he didn't come close to cleaning up.
Do you feel like we've got short-changed? We've been short-changed with Billy for his talent?
No, I don't. Because part of talent, Russ, is knowing how to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a guy that falls in love with potential. That's how many guys have ruined their marriages. That's how you end up cheating on your missus, right? You chase potential. You're not chasing something that's real.
Yeah.
And you fall in love with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's Billy Joe really giving us apart from Lemieux? Eubank Jr., that wasn't a great fight by his standards. Like, that fight turned Eubank into a viable star.
Yeah, it did.
Do you see what I mean? Like John Ryder came on strong. That turned Ryder into a valuable star. You can't do that against Canelo. You can't slack off in the second half of a fight against Canelo because look what Kovalev did. Do you mean he got stopped?
Yeah. Yeah, he did, didn't he? And Kovalev threw kitchen sink at him for the first 5 rounds, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right, then moving on from Bill, but Dylan Whyte obviously stopped Povetkin. Do you think he's had a lot of unjust criticism regarding his win over Povetkin? Because a lot of people in media who really should know better, I'm not going to say the names because there's that many of them that are on the Hearn Express. Do you feel, Terry, that a lot of these people are saying stuff about Dylan Whyte's win, but really they know it? They know they have to say it, but they know it's not true.
So here's what. Okay. So here's what I'll say. We didn't know what Povetkin was going to show up, right? We didn't know, and I don't think Dillian knew. So Dillian's had to train for the best version of Alexander Povetkin there is, right? So I imagine he cut no corners in camp. Yeah. It's not his fault that Povetkin had to literally come out of Ward 7J. I mean, still in his fucking robe, still with his drip hanging out of his arm, and he had to fight. But Povetkin knew that was his last big payday. So he came and he got that. He was on unsteady legs. Dillian dispatched him. That's boxing. Now, my problem with that is, why let Povetkin fight when you know he's in that state?
Yeah.
That's my issue. Why let him fight? It's almost cruel to do that to him. But listen, money makes you do strange things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Do you feel that Huey Fury will ever get a fight with Dylan?
Hell no. Huey Fury is the official president, chairman, overlord of the Who Needs Him Club. He's that good that he's a problem. But he's not commercial enough to be worth the risk.
Yeah.
So people look at Huey and they go, what am I fighting him for? So Huey's always going to be a guy that has to work his way into position. Always.
Yeah, I see your point there, but you feel that Huey don't really care at the moment because he's only 26, isn't he?
I think he does care. I think he cares, man. Like, because what are you in the sport for? You're in the sport for those big fights, those big events, the memories. That's what you're in it for.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be fighting at fucking 7:45 at night. He doesn't want to be fighting like that. He wants to be fighting at 10, 10:30 at night. He wants to be the main event guy.
What about Huey against Parker in a rematch if Chisora beats Parker, or Huey against Chisora if Chisora beats, or vice versa? What do you think?
I'd love to see him fight either of those two guys. I think he beats both of them.
Yeah. Do you feel that Derek,
if the cut doesn't open up, that cut's a big if.
Do you feel that Derek is spent now? Derek Chisora.
Nah, listen, as long as you have your Weetabix and you take your secret blend of nuts, fruits, and juices, you can box till you're 45.
In this day and age, you mean?
Yeah, as long as, you know what I mean, like I told you, that special blend of nuts, fruits, and juices, man, you're all good.
Do you feel, Terry, that David Hay will come back again?
Nah.
No.
Nah. Once all that weight came off, he ain't trying to gain that weight back again. He's fine. He's nice where he is.
Yeah.
He's just looking for his next Chisora. That's what he's looking for now.
Yeah. Do you feel that Tony Bellew will come back?
If it's going to happen, it will happen this year. Yeah. And it would happen against someone like a Del Boy.
Yeah. What, mates? 2 mates fighting?
2 mates, but they'll make it out like they're not mates.
Yeah. You think that?
Because let's not forget that Matchroom is heavily influenced by the WWE. Go back to Saturday night when Conor Benn cut that promo.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't an interview. That was a promo. He was told to, right, you got to say all of this stuff. You got to get it out there, right? We've got to set everything up for the next fight. Right? That's how it works. So it wouldn't surprise me if Del Boy and Tony were sat there plotting, how do we do this? And maybe Belew's on commentary saying something, Derek hears it, goes, what did you just say? And then they get into a bit of handbags, and then that turns into a fight. That wouldn't surprise me. That's how low boxing is sung.
Yeah. Do you feel that Parker beats Chisora, Terry?
No, I don't think Parker beats Nick Webb.
You don't rate Parker?
No, I never have done. I don't know. This guy just literally sat in the WBO rankings long enough to get a title fight against Andy Ruiz, who bottled it on the big stage, and then he's just lived off that for the whole of his career.
Yeah. He's done well out at Giovanni. Don't you
Yeah,
think?
now look at him. Now look at him palling up with Tyson Fury and Andy Lee and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he's just grifting.
It's what, grifting? Is that what they call? Is that what you call it, Terry? Grift.
Yeah, he's just grifting.
He's coming over from New Zealand, getting rid of Kevin Barry because somebody had a whisper in his ear hole.
Isn't that always the way, Russ? Didn't I tell you? People get groomed all the time in this game.
Eddie Hearn had a word with him and said, listen, mate, TV are not interested in you. Before you know where you are, he's got rid of Kevin Barry. Olympic.
Yeah. You got to have a more entertaining style. I can't sell you on pay-per-view with that dead, predictable style.
Yeah. So he's panicked and pressed the eject button for Kevin Barry, poor Soddy. So much for he's like a son to me and he's like a father to me. When the push comes to the push, and then Big Eddie Hearn had a word in his ear, all that was that. He was gone, mate. What about him being your father? I'm not bothered about that, mate. He's going. We'll throw him under the bus.
Porks, welcome to boxing in 2021, man.
Yeah.
It's just a game. Everything's a commodity.
Yeah. You've got to feel for Kevin Barry, though, in all this, haven't you, Terry? Come on.
Nah. I remember back to the 84 Olympics. I don't feel sorry for Kevin Barry. I feel sorry for Evander Holyfield.
Yeah. Oh, because he got robbed at gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. I suppose what bad we got voted boxer at tournament though, didn't he?
Oh, was that the Val Barker trophy?
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. Sure he did.
Crazy.
I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. I know Roy Jones got voted it in '88 and he was robbed.
Well, wait, hold on. Holyfield kind of won the Val Barker trophy in '84.
Yeah, I think.
Well, that's the same year as that Pernell Whitaker, Virgil Hill, Meldrick Taylor.
I might be wrong there, but one of them got robbed. One of the Americans got robbed in the Olympics. It might be Roy Jones in '88, the one after.
That would have been Roy, yeah, because Roy actually got robbed.
Yeah, well, you'll have to double check that, but because Roy won 5 rounds, but they give him a 3-2 loss, didn't they? You'll have to double check that. So the Porkmeister trying to be Spencer the Knowledge Theory, and I might be wrong there, but double check that. But Hopkins could have tried out for '84, couldn't he? But he got jailed, didn't he?
Who did?
Bernard Hopkins were in the running to go in '84, but he ended up in prison, didn't he, in Greaterford?
Hopkins was in the running at what weight?
I've just been reading it today online. There's a big mural of him in this prison. The prison they were in were Greaterford, Pennsylvania, and the '84 Olympic team, Mark Breland, they call it the Great Olympic Team, of Mark Breland, Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor, who were the guy who Mike Tyson busted up in pros, but he beat Tyson.
Terrell Biggs. Was it Terrell Biggs or Henry Tillman?
Terrell Biggs, but Henry Tillman actually, one of them. Oh no, he did Terrell Biggs in the pros, but Henry Tillman beating in the Olympic trials, didn't he?
Yeah. So let's see.
Page.
Wait, let's see. Holyfield 81. Terrell Biggs would have been 91 then, and Henry Tillman would have been 91 plus, and that was the year Lennox won the bronze medal in '84.
Yeah. So, but point I want to make is that team, Hopkins said, people, if you go on your thing, you'll be able to find article and interview. He said he could have.
Well, Hopkins said it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube as well.
He's
he tried out in '84. He were some amateur guy then. He
tried that for who? The guy lost in his debut, man. I don't know if he was that good. I think he learned to be that good. Well, he lost on his debut, Paul. So let's not forget that.
I'm only going to want to see his first I've heard of it. Do you know what I mean? But he got 40 years, didn't he? But he served 5 or something, didn't he? With armed robbery, wasn't it? Or robbery or something, all that like. He went on to say his brother could have done something with NFL or something. I don't know. He was from an athletic family, and I like his hustle. I liked his. Apparently, he was a bully.
Yeah, he wouldn't survive 2 weeks in Lindell, mate. Not around us, mate. No, definitely not around me. I mean, not on H block. Nah, no way.
What's going to happen with Daniel Dubois now then, Terry? Obviously, he's working with Jimmy Tibbs at Mon. Mark Tibbs is out at country. But where do you where do you see?
I see this ending in disaster.
Yeah.
I love Daniel Dubois. I think Daniel Dubois was a rare talent as a youngster. But I did a podcast episode.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, mate. So I did a podcast episode about this, Russ. And I talked about the art of training. And what I try and say to people is sometimes you meet a kid who's figured out boxing and taken it in a direction that you may not understand, but it's your job as a trainer to get to where that person is. And I use the example of Sonny Edwards.
Yeah.
And why Sonny Edwards never boxed for GB at a high level, because he should have. But I don't think the GB coaches could get to where Sonny Edwards was, if that makes sense. I think Sonny was that good that the coaches didn't understand what he was doing, so they tried to force him to be more in line with what they knew. Now, Dubois got a similar challenge in that I don't know if his current coaching team can get to where Daniel is in terms of what's in Daniel's head in order to then make him better. So I think they'll keep telling him to do X, Y, Z, but it's not going to be what Daniel feels is right. And so he's always going to be boxing in between two styles, who he really is and who he's been taught to be. And I just don't see it ending well.
So what do you see the future? What in the future for Daniel Dubois? Do you see misery, or what do you see?
You'll always try and make money with it because of the talent he's got. But I just think if you rematched him with Joe Joyce, he'd probably lose that. You put him in with Huey, he'd probably lose that now. And the eye is still a big risk. That eye is going to be tested against heavyweights hitting it. So there's a lot of time to be nervous about where he's headed. That's all I can say on that one. I want him to do well. I hope he does well. I just don't see it happening in the setup.
Strong words from Terry tonight. Strong words.
And before anyone gets offended, here's why. He's not a big heavyweight. He's a big man, but he's not a big heavyweight. Joe Joyce is a big heavyweight, for example. Yoka's a big heavyweight. Daniel Dubois, not a big heavyweight. So when you're not a big heavyweight, you've got to be able to dominate with pace and the ability to punch in combinations, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe the Tibbs family believe in that. That's not their philosophy. Their philosophy is if you don't have to engage, don't engage. But with someone like Dubois, he's going to have to engage against the best guys in the division because they're all bigger than him. So who's teaching him to punch in combinations? Who's going to teach him how to handle himself on the inside? Who's going to teach him how to maul these bigger guys when he has to do that? That's what I want to know. Who's going to teach him that?
Well, Nigel Benn engaged when he was with Jimmy Tibbs, didn't he?
Porks, go back and watch Nigel in the ABAs. He was the same way. Like you didn't teach him anything. Nigel was swinging at everyone for his whole career.
Yeah, he only lost one fight in amateurs, didn't he, against Rod Douglas, wasn't it?
No. No, I think he lost an ABA final and won one or something like that. Didn't he lose to Mark Edwards? He might have lost to Mark Edwards.
He was 46-1 in amateurs, but my memory's that scrambled lately, so I could be wrong. People need to check.
Because he won the ABAs once, but by then he was 22. I'm sure he did it before and didn't win. So it might have been Roderick Douglas, but he's definitely. Oh man, there's one of them where he lost the final, but I can't remember. But he was definitely a rival of Rod Douglas. So him, Rod Douglas, and Michael Watson were rivals in the amateurs, didn't like each other in the pros. Yeah. Rod Douglas had an eye injury, had to drop out. Chris Eubank then became the third part of that triangle.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, we wish them all the best. Daniel DeBart. Josh Taylor. Where do you see him heading now?
Towards greatness. I see him beating Ramirez, going up to 147. I still think he beats Crawford.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's strong words from you again tonight, Terry. You Terry Crawford loses against Josh Taylor. Well, I had him to beat Mikey Garcia, so if he's going to beat Mikey Garcia, he's in the mix to fight somebody like Terence Crawford, isn't he?
Look, when you become undisputed at 140, you fight whoever you want at 147. Like I don't think you might need some tune-up fights to get used to the weight. Okay. But they don't have to be hard fights.
Yeah.
But I can see him go. I see because, and here's the thing, mate, your comments are going to be red hot after I say all of this stuff. Think about Terence Crawford. He's never really been in with a guy who's like, do you know what, mate? Forget all this boxing nonsense. Let's just bang out, you and me.
Yeah.
Put 2 southpaws, let's bang out. Taylor's used to that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So let's see what happens, because Prograis tried to be slick with him, tried to pot shot and, try to be a sharpshooter against Josh Taylor. Taylor just said, nah, forget all of this, mate. We're going to fight. And I think Josh has got about 4 inches in height on Crawford anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all wrong for Terence Crawford. I'm not saying that Josh is going to run over him, but I can see Josh Taylor winning that fight.
Yeah. All right, then. Lawrence Okolie, what did you think?
Brilliant. Everything he's done in the last 12 months has been brilliant. I think Lawrence Okolie's played this boxing game like a genius.
I think he has. He's had us all hoodwinked. He's played it inside the ring and outside the ring, and people handling him and training him. He's obviously getting some very good advice behind the scenes.
He's done everything right, Porky. The book and the music stuff was in the pipeline. Waited to do as world champion, let it all out. Bam.
What about the media? Song, Terry? Here I am, chilling with Arabs in Dubai, chilling with Arabs, lifting carrots, eating carrot. What's all that about? And pussy in a spliff, and bring your 2 sisters, and all this. Is proper letting rip with Gold Grill, isn't he? He's proper roadman killer, isn't he?
But you know what? He's just enjoying his moment.
Yeah, and why not? Why not? Good luck to him. We've given him loads of stick, though, for being an octopus and stinking arenas out. But he changed his style, and I think credit has to be given to Shane McGuigan. A lot of credit. And Lawrence has obviously got people advising him good behind the scenes at the moment, hasn't he?
I actually thought it was you advising him when I saw the video. When I saw the gold grill, I was like, that's classic Porky Russ.
One of my old escapades melted down and made into a grill. Okay, then. Nathan Gorman, where do you see him going next, Terry? And does he need a strength and conditioner and a good nutrition guy on board?
He just needs to take it seriously. Now, whatever that looks like, I don't know, but he has to take it seriously. You see what happens with these kids, Paul, when they're good at a young age, they believe they'll always be better than everyone else. So they never get that work ethic that the kids they're beating develop. Because if I'm losing to Nathan Gorman, I'm seeing this chubby kid with a round face and he's beating me easily. Yeah. I'm running more. I'm doing more press-ups. I'm working on my technique more. So that when we both physically mature, I've closed that gap on him. Yeah. And now Nathan's got to go where they went. So he's got to do the strength and conditioning. He's got to do the runs. He's got to do the diet. He's got to do the self-improvement as well.
Yeah. What do you think about David Evanesian? Where do you think he goes next, Terry?
I think Matchroom will hold him back. They'll find reasons to keep him inactive while they fight. So he gets inactive and they can then say, right, Conor Benn, you fight him now. Like, classic matchroom, isn't it? If you're a threat to the Empire, they'll just sit you down somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Rocky. Shut door, Ruby. All right then. Punditry. I know I always give a bit of stick at punditry, but do you feel that Spencer Fearon might have found his niche lately with the ringside analysis that he's doing? Because I've been very critical of most things that he's done, and obviously he's a bit out there. But I personally, in my own opinion, think that he's really good. What do you think?
I like Spence. His commentary sometimes is a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
The commentary team I like is the ESPN with Timothy Bradley and Andre Ward.
Yeah.
That's for me is perfect. Or when you had Roy Jones on there, I thought Roy was really good on commentary as well.
Anchor for HBO.
Yeah. Who else was impressed? Who used to impress? Mike Tyson was really good.
Yeah, I thought Mike Tyson was like a bit softer spoken like that,
but he'd see these little details, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I just feel that he's got his son a good gig there with MTK, and I think he's doing all right.
I was the best commentator MTK ever had.
You were, yeah. What you did give one gig for him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good man. Where do you see put Bean there? It's Bean. Where do you see Bean, Nelson, the company man, heading with this Sky thing? Do you think it all might be coming to an end now? They look to be a little bit on back foot. They're not the usual self, sadly, do you think?
So the Sky problem is this. After Fury Joshua, the cupboard's bare.
Yeah.
It's as ruthless as that. After that, the cupboard's bare. We don't have any pay-per-view stars. The 2016 class haven't really given us that yet. And it doesn't look like they will. So we're still looking to these older guys, but they're getting old, and then they just want to cash out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. The cupboard looks bare. It looks like after Joshua's done, we're back to the dark ages. Now these promoters are running around like crazy, Russ, trying to find the replacements, but you can't manufacture replacements.
Do you think that they're trying to eat Eddie and Matchroom, Eddie and his old man, basically, are trying to manufacture some pay-per-view star for nothing, and trying to rush it, because if Joshua gets flogged twice by Fury, 12 months from now they could be out of the game, couldn't they? If Joshua,
yeah, it's a big risk. I'm not gonna lie, and I know they see that as a big risk. If Joshua were to get smashed to bits, then what?
Then what? Yeah, what we're gonna do? How we're gonna have Tony Bellew back? God, Lawrence Okolie is not the personality to pull pay-per-view off, I don't think.
I'm telling you this now. We are not far off Matchroom legends. Okay, we are not far off that.
What Matchroom? What?
Legends. They will dig up these guys like Herbie Hart.
Oh, yeah. Carl Frog.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, there'll be a Legends series where they do like 3-minute rounds or something. It's not far off, man. I promise you that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward. And where do you think Frank is in all this?
I think Frank's struggling at the moment. I think Frank's got a load of really young talent that's looking impressive, but it's not maturing. Like it's not at the point where, I mean, it's all fucking caterpillars, no butterflies. I think that's his problem. So do you run out of money before these guys become pay-per-view or not? That's the question.
Yeah. Ebony Bridges and Shannon Courtney. How do you score it, Terry?
So look, I had it a draw after 10. Yeah. If you had it 96-94 to Shannon Courtney, I can't be mad at you either.
Yeah.
But what was it? What was someone scored? Like 98-92, and I was like, no way.
Judges, yeah.
Disgraceful. They wrote this. It seems like they wrote those scorecards before the first bell.
Yeah.
But Russ, we need to stop, and we need to give those ladies credit for giving us an entertaining fight.
Yeah,
like the men could learn from that.
Yeah, they went for it, didn't they? Do you feel that Shannon and Courtney didn't sell it as much as the other girl?
Nah, I don't think so. I think Shannon's put her work in over the years. I'm going to ask you something, Russ. If they rematch, would you watch that again?
Yeah, of course I would. Yeah, I would. Yeah,
they've done their job.
Yeah, there ain't really much out there for them to fight, though, is there? So they're going to rematch, aren't they?
So they kept the money in the fight. So there's still money in that fight. So I respect that.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from. Tunde Ajayi and Anthony Yarde.
Legend. Tunde's a legend.
What do you see happening with them?
Business as usual.
Crossbar.
And I know, mate, and I know your comments are going to start burning off this as well. But come back to the point I made, right? You can't tell someone to change trainers and you give me a list of people. I'm like, but can that trainer get to where Anthony Yarde is?
Go to Adam Boo. He's the best.
Yeah, you need a trainer. Like Tunde knows Anthony Yarde, knows his moods, knows when he's good, knows when he's not. He knows all of that. And sometimes that's more important than holding pads, or that's more important than wearing the body bag. That's more important than shouting instructions on the bag. It's the ability to get your guy to perform on the night.
Do you feel
there's no guarantee someone else could do a better job.
Exactly. Do you feel that Tunde Ajayi, though, because he's more known for being outspoken and trying to promote his guy and be a promoter than an actual trainer in the background, do you feel that that's why as soon as Yarde got beat, the knives came out for him?
But Tunde's also his manager, so...
Yeah, I know he's manager, but obviously he's going to try and get him into position. But it was some, all that lions in the cab, all that posh you were coming out with. What do you think?
Look, if that works for Anthony Yarde, who's anyone to judge that?
Yeah, but when they found wanting in middle of the round, he said, "What do I do?" He went, "Lions in the camp, son." he did though, didn't he? That's what he came. Yeah. That's what I heard. I mean, so he said, "What do you do?" Well, I'd have thought if he'd have turned around and said, just double your jab and stand outside till you get your breath back, we'd have accepted that. But he went, "What do I do?" He went, "Lions in camp, son."
Okay, well, let's take it from a different perspective, Russ.
Yeah, go on.
Right. Let's say we've got to drive from where you are now to Denby, right?
Yeah.
Wait, watch him bite your face off.
Wait, you ain't got a fate in him. He's a lover, not a fate, ain't you, Rocky?
Hey, remember when he was inhaling all that weed smoke and he started going mad?
Yeah. What about when he swallowed that bit of Subutex on the stairs when we got him 2015? He was sweating his ass off, and I thought, what's gone on here? And I picked my packet up of medication. There were a little piece of one missing, and I found it, and then other little piece, only a tiny bit, and I was really worried. Well, I went out New Year's Eve with Dennis in up Exo Road. I was ringing back, is he alive? I was in a right mess. But keep your medication in a bottle in future. Don't come in with it in your pocket pissed up. Because I thought, what's that? Dog was on Zonko. RSPCA on me now, but no, he's not a tough guy, Rocky. He's a lover, not a fighter. But he had a bird yet, because I've had him clipped, didn't I, as soon as I got him. So he's that bad. But no, we about Tunde. He does rub people up wrong way, and that podcast that he does with Spencer Fearon, that's. They laugh a lot on that, don't they? I can't really understand the word they say. They're like howling with laughter of us to thought way through. Is that how they are, then?
Yeah, but remember, they've known each other since the mid-90s.
Oh, right then. Well, like I said, they laugh a lot, and what's going on here? I can't understand the fucking word they're saying.
No, but look, I look at it from this perspective. We will know how good Tunde is when he gets other fighters. Now, when it's not Anthony Yarde anymore, people. The problem with boxing fans is they fall in love with potential. They assume everyone can be a world champion, everyone can be a world level. Listen, sometimes the trainer's just got the most out of that guy. It happens, right? Look, Mark and Jimmy Tibbs had Billy Joe back in the day. Has Billy moved on a lot since then? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, there you go. Sometimes you do. Kevin Mitchell had to go back to Tony Sims.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He went back to Tony.
But these boxing fans never talk about that. They never go, oh, actually, sometimes it's just best to stick with who and what you know.
Yeah. Do you feel that Joshua played a blinder with what's going on up there? Because I've heard a little thing that not everything might be all rosy between all them lot up there, you know?
Of course it's not going to be, because they're all people with strong views. Yeah, but everyone's got strong views on boxing, right? McCracken's got his view.
Yeah.
And McCracken's got gold medals to justify his view. Joby Clayton's got his view. And he's got a couple of good case studies, but nothing proven yet in Ben Whitaker.
Suarez involved.
Hmm?
In Oscar Suarez involved.
No, Angel Fernandez.
Sorry, Angel Fernandez. I got it wrong. Angel Fernandez.
So Angel Fernandez has got his own views. So these aren't views that are aligned. Like, they all see it slightly differently. Yeah. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your views into the fighter.
Do you feel, Terry, that there might be chinks in the armour as regards the Joshua McCracken relationship, or do you think that Joshua will keep him on board for the PR, you know, because he's had him from the beginning, and he likes to play Mr. Humble, doesn't he, and all that?
If you kept McCracken after he lost to Ruiz, he ain't going anywhere ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
That was the chink. That was when the break would have happened, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But even if they do split, McCracken's ended up a multi-millionaire, so he's ended up all right out at job, because he was potless one in front boxing job.
Yeah, but people assume McCracken's on a percentage. He's not. McCracken's on a fee.
Yeah. But he's also got plenty of fees from Team GB, and he's done well, Robert, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done all right. And now his brother Max has got Big Solomon coming through.
He's apparently doing Max McCracken, isn't he, apparently?
Well, he's got Big Solomon. So, I mean, you got as big and strong as they come. So he's got a good chance to do something with him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting times ahead, Matt.
It's why we love the sport, Porky.
This is why we love this sport so much, Barry Hearn. Okie dokie. Let's just finish up on DAZN and Sky and what you think the decision will be, because it's getting close now. They're going to announce something, aren't they, next 6 to 7 weeks? What do you think's going to be the outcome, the final verdict? Is Eddie going to stay at Sky, or is he going to go?
Wow. I think a large part of it depends on what Joshua does, because Joshua's got his contract with Sky.
Yeah.
So if, for example, if Joshua re-signs with Sky and says, actually, do you know what? Sky have been good to me my whole career. I'm going to stay loyal to them, which isn't impossible. Then I can see Hearn going, well, I've got to stick with Sky because that's where AJ is. I don't want anyone else getting the credit for that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm wrong on this, the comments can correct me. I don't believe Matchroom have a standalone agreement with Joshua. I believe it comes through Sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're DAZN, you're massively loss-making. What the hell do you do? I don't know. I don't know what they do. Right now, it doesn't seem that they know what they're doing. So,
yeah.
Hire Porky Russ as your head of boxing.
Yeah, I'm here as your head of boxing. I will torpedo your company. Where do you think this leaves all the baggage with Sky if they bail out? Do you think all these people will try and jump ship to other boxing channels, or do you think they might come on board doing YouTube stuff and all that? I mean, what's going to happen to these presenters? Are they going to have to do another sport?
Mate, the grift never stops. You know that. It never stops. It just changes shape. They'll find something else to do.
Yeah. Johnny Nelson always seems to land on his feet, though, doesn't he? Or his back.
Hey. Porky, man, stop firing shots. Johnny Nelson's a British treasure.
Yeah, but do you feel that every time Johnny Nelson's looking into her eyes, he's going to see Stan Collymore?
Nah, I doubt it, man. Like, you know, Johnny just handles his business.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. All right then, Terry. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on. We have a great evening. What's left of it? Do you know what Liverpool score at the moment, kid?
I hope they're losing.
You what? Oh, you're Arsenal, aren't
you? Yeah, I just hope they're losing. I'm not going to pretend otherwise.
All right. Okie dokie then. Well, listen, you take care, and I will probably speak to you tomorrow, young man.
All right, mate. Don't have nightmares, Porky, as always.
Don't have nightmares. Anybody you want to shout out to, Terry?
As always, man, Chris Medley, living legend. Who else, man? Fister Fulton, Simon, you got to shout him out, man. Always shows me love on social media. And anyone else that shows me love on social media, Matt Skelton and all the usual guys, man. It's always appreciated, I promise you.
Good lad, Matt. When is the next beautiful boxing podcast you're going to do, Terry? Because you've not done one since the 28th.
There's one out now, Porky. It came out this afternoon.
Oh, did it? Well, I better get it on now then and get me spliff down me and chill out listening to your podcast.
Yeah, get some black sheep in you. You'll enjoy it.
I will. It's Stella tonight because I've run out, so it's Stella or Twat. Have a good one, Terry.
All right, pal. You take care. All right. Bye.
Well, that was Terry. If anybody thinks that I should do me, Terry, Rico, and Simon one, or a me, Chris Ward, Simon, and Harley Marshall, or whoever. There's John. There's about 45 different people. Can't keep everybody happy. The point I want to make is that if anybody thinks that we should start doing a couple of group ones a week, let me know and I'll just stick an invoice into SYPS. I'm good at that. And we'll need a meeting to decide when we're going to have a meeting to talk about the meeting, to have a Zoom, because it's 120 quid a year. Didn't get a memo for that, Porky. I'll have to take it out of your wages. All right. If anybody thinks it's going to be a good one, good idea, let me know and we'll do the deal. Rico thinks it's good though, so we'll see. But it's just pinning everybody down on nights that we can do it because not everybody wants to give the time up. I'd like to do something similar to Asylum do, you know, where they have it every week and there's loads of people can chip in. I'll be up for something like that. If anybody's got any ideas, if anybody'd like to take part, anybody that's already been on channel, all right, because we're not taking any new members on at the moment or no, new Zoomers, unless you remember. I'm just messing with you. All right, then, well, listen, I'm going to get off now. I want to put Terry's beautiful boxing podcast on. I missed that one, didn't I? I'm not exactly Mr. Current Affairs this week, am I, Rocky? All right. Peace out.